had lesbian-only Shakespeare, which is different. Who thinks of these ideas, really?
Hey, Donnie. It's me, bud. I'm back. Did you miss me? I know that you didn't get a chance to get back to me after my last video, but I get it. You're very busy. You're a big boy president, running the big boy United States of America. I totally understand. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. But listen, bud. So I have 2 master's degrees in Shakespeare, and I just wanted to come talk to you about lesbian-only Shakespeare, because as a historian, I feel like maybe there's a few things that we should clear up. Now, obviously, D-Train, I'm not here to question your knowledge or expertise on Shakespeare. I mean, obviously, you know how to read, so... But as Jiminy Glick once said, I do have a couple of notes. Listen, Donnie T, I know that you hate fake news, and so the first thing that I want to open with is that you're going to hear from a lot of people today that it was illegal for women to perform on stage during Shakespeare's day, and that's actually not true. The time Shakespeare was writing, it was wildly unpopular, but there weren't any actual laws in the books forbidding it. But speaking very broadly and very generally across the board, in order to be allowed to perform by the Master of Revels, the Master of Revels was tasked with making sure that there wasn't any indecency in your plays, up to and including, gasp, having a woman. So, therefore, all of Shakespeare's plays were performed with men dressed as women. Like, what bathroom do they even use? You know what I mean? But here's the other thing, Donald. All of this DEI, the gay agenda, thrusting queer people into places where queer people didn't exist. You're right. In Elizabethan England, gay people didn't exist. Of course, men frequently wrote flowery love poems to each other, and kissed, called each other sweetheart, often slept in the same bed, pledged everlasting loyalty to each other. Like, that was just bros being bros being bros, you know what I'm saying, man? Not to mention, in 1533, they literally outlawed sodomy, which, you know, they didn't even need to do because clearly nobody was doing it, because obviously being gay didn't exist and they weren't trying to criminalize it on account of, like, morality and puritanical panic or anything like that. And I mean, obviously, Shakespeare wasn't bisexual, and nor did he include any queer characters in his what's that? Oh, actually, Shakespeare wrote a bunch of sonnets to a male person, and also there's, like, a bunch of queer people in his plays. Wow. Thing is, Mr. President, is that you have to kind of think about Shakespeare the same way that I imagine your sex life is like, which is the equivalent of beige paint. Shakespeare has been around for a very long time, and when you add some color or some, like, interesting accoutrement on top of it, it makes things a little bit more exciting. For instance, you could stage a totally normal and totally regular production of Midsummer Night's Dream and have a perfectly lovely little romantic comedy, and it'll be great and fun. However, let's say that you wanted to really highlight the themes of consent and consent violations that happen in Midsummer. Setting Midsummer at, I don't know, Harvey Weinstein's island, that might put a different spin on the show. No, you just put a magic flower in some girl's drink and get what you want from her. But the thing is, Trumpy Dumpy, is that people have been doing stuff like this since, like, the Civil War. During the Civil War, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar were incredibly popular in both the northern and southern states. Why? Because at the time we were going through a crisis of identity. People realized that we were living at a time when there were 2 households, both alike in dignity, who had very, very different values. And what happens when one person falls in love with another person from a house that doesn't believe the same things as them? Now, in doing my due diligence for this, I looked it up, and I could not find a single all-lesbian version of Shakespeare that had been done in any sort of national theater. There have been some all-women productions, but not all women are lesbians. I'm sure you know this. And there have been some queer-forward and queer-focused productions. And again, like, I know that you like to pretend that queer people don't exist. They're written into Shakespeare. They're written into other playwrights' work as well. For example, the Achilles-Patroclus relationship in Troilus and Cressida is a beautiful example. I will also die on the hill that Beatrice and Benedick are in a lavender marriage. But that's an argument for a different day. There is also other problematic content in Shakespeare's works. There's anti-Semitism, there's racism. Like, Titus Andronicus has an entire plot line about racism towards black people. So, to answer your question, Mr. President, who thought of this stuff? The answer is literally actually Shakespeare. Queer people and trans people have existed for as long as there have been people and will continue existing far after the hollowed out shell of a husk that you call a body is buried firmly in the ground. You can cut funding to the arts, you can roll back education, you can punish us, you can jail us, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but we're never going away because queerness and gender identity is baked into the very foundations of Shakespeare itself. So go fuck yourself. Bye.